Welcome to WROL Broadcast. Here are your hosts.
This is Joker speaking, and today we will be doing an interview from a member of our DCL community, TheFunnyScar.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I managed to upgrade a few characters today, so that always makes me happy.
Well, that's good. So what got you into the game off the start?
It was last year, and I already had played some DC games, like the Arkham games and the Lego supervillains games and stuff. And I was watching a Shazam movie, and I was like, oh, isn't there like a really cool game for the phone? And I saw this and downloaded it, and well, been hooked ever since.
Okay. How long have you been playing?
And since the start of September last year.
What modes of play or challenges do you find the most fun or draw you in mostly into the game?
Well, I would first want to say, of course, PvE, but after a while that gets kind of boring because, well, after you beat all of it, it's easy. So,
Right.
then yeah, after that, red alerts, but they start to become very easy as well, especially with all those characters coming out that just blow straight through it. Like after the Lex rework, it already became quite easy, and then now Star Sapphire, of course. Now, yeah, I tried
Yeah.
it today, no effort whatsoever. So yeah, recently my favorite has become the normal raid arena.
Okay. And what kind of team comps do you like running when you're doing the Wraith PvP? You got any particular teams that you really gravitate towards using that you just enjoy using?
I've always liked debuffs, so I like running bleed, stun, or int down comps. Unfortunately, the int down comps aren't very viable right now. That's a bit sad, but I always try to run it when I can.
Okay. You have a particular character that you could say is your favorite to use?
Um, well, I've I've always used Satana and Mary Marvel a lot. Um, and now I also use Cersei a lot. And of course, since yesterday, Star Sapphire, she's amazing.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to try Jon Stewart? What are your feelings on that rework?
Uh, yeah, I, I honestly feel like he actually got worse. It seems to me his damage actually got lower, his damage output, and that was the only thing I'd really see any use for him for. I
Okay.
mean, he gets below 50% and then he hits like a truck. That was his kit. But now it's like he doesn't even do that.
Mm. And how are you feeling about the two new characters that are coming in? Are you excited about either one of them?
Well, I'm very interested in Black Hand. Um, it looks very cool, and I, yeah, the idea speaks to me about a dead guy suddenly reviving everyone. Like what? Um, and the Doom debuff, it would be interesting to see a lot more because, well,
Right.
now we only have chemo, but the problem with chemo is he applies the debuff and then he slows down the opponent team. So the debuff almost never triggers.
Right.
So I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see that debuff trigger a lot more.
Now, how are you doing in the current raids? How are you liking the boss and the new skins that have come out with this current raid going on?
Well, at first about the skins, I was like, meh, again Black Lantern skins. But now I'm like, at least they're done pretty decently. We've had a lot worse, so And the raid boss, yeah, I don't like the Scarecrow raid. I don't like it. I mean,
Yes.
the solo bosses are decent. I mean, Clayface and Man-Bat are straightforward enough to beat. Just hit them very hard. But Scarecrow is so very annoying.
So, what kind of comps are you using during raids to try to beat him right now? What kind of teams are you leaning on?
In for the physical teams against the mystical Scarecrow, I just use can't miss tunes like Owlman and Deadshot, Hide Gun. But for the other teams, yeah, it depends. On the solo bosses, I slot in Lex because he maximizes damage and speeds up your team, which is great. But against Scarecrow, I swap him for Hell Jordan.
Okay. Although the characters that are coming out monthly, get 2 per month, or is there certain characters that you really love out of the DC comics that you would just really love to see come out soon? In particulars that really get your attention?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Red Hood and the Outlaws series, so I'd like to see some more characters from that series, like Essence or the Bizarro from the Outlaws. I'd also like to see the new character Punchline be added to the game. I'm really liking her in the comics, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if she gets added.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of attention, building up in popularity in the comic field and even in the DCL community. I run the character polls there, and this month I'm seeing her name pop up left and right. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's around the corner someday.
Oh, it's probably also related to her one shot coming out.
Yeah, definitely. The one with was it 30 or 40 different variant covers?
Yes.
I swear every time I turn around, there's another variant coming out for that book. So as far as the raids go and keeping your interest in raids, how do you feel about its current state as far as the rewards go, the bosses, and the little changes they've made here and there, like the recent Superman Prime? Do you think they're doing enough to maintain your interest in them?
Well, the concept of simply attacking a lot against such characters is fun, but I prefer if it were like a 1 or 2 day event and we get a big Alliance PvP event or something. That would be really sick.
Were you around for the Martian Manhunter Alliance challenge?
No, unfortunately not. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I wasn't around for it.
Yeah, that was a fun Alliance challenge there. It ran like typical Alliance points weekly gains, except they added the rewards at the end for top alliances. You would receive Martian Manhunter shards, and just kind of gave everybody the motivation to push for top 100, top 10, or top 1 alliance for those huge chunks of frags. It's something I'd like to see come on back one day.
Yeah, I would like to see that happen as well. I've got a good alliance for contributions, so that would be fun.
You want to talk about your alliance a bit? You have one. Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
know you have one. How do you? Go ahead.
The Refugees Rampage Squad.
How many members have you got since you started the squad?
Well, we're now at 29 members. Unfortunately, some had to go because, well, they weren't at all. But we're once again almost full, so I'm very happy that it's such a healthy alliance. Basically, I mean, everyone's very active, so
You got that
big
up and
shout out to
rolling.
my members.
You got that alliance up and rolling very fast. I don't believe it's maybe even 3 months old that you've had the alliance running, and you already have top 100
since the beginning of September.
Yeah,
and this entire month we've been top 100.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how was the demeanor and the alliance? Is it upbeat? You guys communicate a lot to keep the motivation going. I've been in some alliances where it's very quiet, and they still manage to pull off top 100 just like they walk in and they're going to work. What's your strategy?
I've had that in previous alliances as well, but my current alliance is very very upbeat, very active. Also, a lot of communication. It's a lot of fun. I honestly like my members.
You have any MVPs or anybody you want to give a specific shout out to, or keep it all good and mutual for the group?
Yeah, I prefer doing that. Yes.
Let's see. So, what initially got you into DC? Not the game, but comics or movies or cartoons. What drew you into the whole thing?
Well, it starts actually with my dad. He grew up with the very old Batman series with Adam West and everything, and he collected a lot of Batman stuff because of it. So when I was little, he kind of tried to get me into that stuff as well. So yeah, that's how I basically got in touch with DC because, well, basically raised with Batman and Superman and everything.
Okay. And excuse me there. Now, as far as the future of the gameplay goes, are there specific features you would like to eventually see down the road? New content, so to say.
I don't know. Maybe test sort of test room for testing comps. Like you get a random board of bot teams which you can beat or something. That would be interesting. Just trying out new characters without any punitive things when you lose.
This is just kind of like a typical training mode or simulator mode, as you can see in other games, just to get the idea of how your comps work and new characters, so to say.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I could see myself spending the entire day doing that.
As far as a lot of the more WHAL players, they're more concerned about an increase in gear from G11 to G12 or level cap up to 100. How would you feel if they start implementing that around the corner?
I wouldn't be that happy about it, to be honest. I mean, I'm already working very hard myself to finally reach G11. And I can imagine that a lot of newer players would not like the fact that they have to wait a lot longer before they're also end game players. I've also heard a few players say that they end game players say that they actually like being end game and don't want to rank up. So I don't imagine it would be a very popular implementation, so to say.
Right. Now, well, we're running out of time here, and I truly appreciate having you on. Is there anything you want to plug or say at the end of the interview?
No, not really. I had a fun time. That's it, actually.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good day.
You too.
And now a public service announcement. For those of you that are concerned about the coronavirus, you need to do just two things. Do not drink Corona and
wash your hands.
concluding my second half of an interview with a DCL community member. With me is KhaledFelfal, who has a Discord server called The Masters, full of useful information for players and old and new. So, Khaled, how long have you been playing DCL? And tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I started playing these legends on the 27th of April this year, which means 6 months to now. About me, well, I'm someone who is crazy about video games. I am a player and developer as well. I love video games so much, so that's it.
Okay. What inspired you to make the Discord server, The Masters, full of tips and information for players?
Not sure if people know that, but I have another Discord server for Injustice 2 Mobile. So the idea of making one for these legends came just because I wanted to make some informative, clear, organized server for DCL.
Okay. Well, it's a very effective server. I like using it myself. Tell us about the features in your server.
Regarding the useful info, there are two main features that can't be found anywhere. The Toon Spot and the reminders. Let's talk about the Toon Spot. It's a bot which you can use to get any Toon's abilities maxed and add L5, which means Legendary 5. Currently, there are about 37 Toons added, but more are coming. I also add on demand when someone wants a specific character to be added. The reminder is a bot that will remind you if any event in the game is about to end, whether it is a challenge, arena, siege, or even a raid. 2 times, 13 minutes before it and 10 minutes before it. Well, for me, I fell from default 1,500 points at arena to default 900 because I forgot to play in the last moments 2 weeks in a row. Also, when Israel was at the siege, I lost many frags because I didn't play at the last moments. So I think it's really helpful tool to use.
Oh, absolutely. And I end up relying on it quite a bit now that I found the server. What efforts had you gone through in compiling all this data?
Most of the data here are made in visual way. It's way easier and better to read. I got the data from DC Legends YK, Reddit, and myself collecting it from in-game, and then turned them into a visual organized way.
Okay. Well, that kind of answers my next question, asking if all the information and work was your own. Did you have anybody else assist you, I guess, hands-on with the server?
And no, some info was gotten from Reddit and other sources like hate mail, like the void scanner tracker, tire list, legendary order, and buffs and debuffs list. Those are not mine.
Going with hate mail is definitely a wise choice there. He's in there.
Yes, he has many important info. He puts also great effort into the community.
Thank you for that. For a new player just starting, what data can they find of most use in your server?
I think that he will need the same data I needed when I first started. I needed to know fragments cost, and it took me a while to start checking them from the server. Legendary order is also important as well as buffs and debuffs list. It takes time to know what every buff or debuff does without checking the list. Also, Toon Spot would be useful to check Toon's abilities.
Absolutely. How frequently do you update the information in your server?
There's 2 types of data in my server, static and monthly updated ones. The static ones are like the costs and lists. Whenever they are changed, I'll change them. And the other type are updated monthly, like monthly events, tire list, and RED calendar, and so on.
So you're constantly working on this one, huh? That's
Yeah.
great. How do you like the current? Thank you. How do you like the current state of the game?
Very great, but it's getting a bit routine. Talking about the monthly rewards, new tunes, and the rest. I'd like to see something new, like a new game mode, a new campaign chapter. We haven't got any new campaign chapter for a long time.
That kind of answers a bit of my next question. What features would you like to see specifically in the future of the game?
Mostly, I'm thinking they can give us the ability to donate fragments between alliance members. So, for example, when I need a specific tune fragments, I can request for my allies to give me some fragments for this character, and they can donate me if they have some.
That's going to raise an off-scripted question there. Just out of curiosity, how would you feel about that in regards to, say, people cheating their way into gaining more fragments than they should by making multiple accounts?
Well, it can have a limit for fragments donated or something like that. Also, I don't think that someone will give some of his fragments to someone who don't know. I think both should be known to each other. So,
All right. Are there any particular characters you want to see added? Do you have any favorites that you'd like to see added?
new? I don't think so. I don't. I don't have any character that I'd like to see anymore. But for my favorite, there are a lot of my favorite actually. I would like. I'd say Arcus and Lex Luthor, like Adam as well. Also Etrigan. Etrigan is so useful at challenges and campaign. Uh, also Owlman and Martian Manhunter. Those are my favorites.
All right. What team comps are you currently using in game for Wraith?
Lex Luthor as a lead, and for the three rest, I like to use them for the three different affinity. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to use survival support suit Lex Luthor as a leader for my team, as well with three different affinities tunes, red and blue and green. So that would be harder for other teams or enemy team to take me down.
Right. How are you currently liking the raid right now?
The current rate is so annoying, especially when it comes to Scarecrow. He puts a huge amount of hit chance downs and stuns to my team.
Yeah.
So the solution for me would be using Owlman. I don't think I have another solution for me right now.
Same here. What's your
So
opinion
annoying.
on?
It's
It's very annoying. What's your opinion on our new additions and reworks for November?
To be honest, I did not take a look at the new editions, but I did take a look at the reworks, which is Starsphere and Jon Stewart. I think that Jon Stewart is gonna be a bit annoying for now, especially that he's widely found in the game, whether it is in arena or campaign or even the RED. You can find him anywhere. Starsphere is being very great. She got heavy damage, and her buffing. Her healing ability is becoming way greater than before. She can a bit replace Lex Luthor, but not guaranteed the same results.
Right. And what particularly drew you into DCL itself?
I know DCL from a long time, but didn't really try it before. I did download DC Legend because I wanted a new game to get into, especially when I quit Injustice 2 Mobile because it was becoming so greedy and so buggy. So I wanted a new DC game that can give me some hope and some fun during the game.
Okay. And well, thank you for coming on with us. And before we end this, is there anything you'd like to add before we end?
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure for me to talk to you. I just would like to say that I forgot it.
Well, Khaled, thank you for coming on. And for those listening, please check out his server, The Masters, on Discord. And thank you very much. It's been great.
Yes, thank you. This is what I wanted to say, actually. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hey everyone, it's Tron. Thank you for listening to WROL Broadcast. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts.